What a deal.
Hey guys, and welcome to Little Blackbird 91. We are talking to you guys about, well, put a ring on it. And we're dealing specifically with Shay and talking about Alfonzo. They were on this particular episode. They were showing us what it takes to show growth. They were giving us what it means to be involved in a relationship and actually grow together and separately as well. And so I want to talk a little bit about them, and because I want to have a different aspect to put a ring in it, because I think what we do often see with this show is that we get onto the couples, they come on here, they're crazy, they've dated some madness, and it all goes down a particular way. But I think what we're seeing from Alfonzo and Shay is poster boy and girl for how the process can really affect people when they really want to see change. So it won't be a very long live, but it's more of a conversation with the audience. If you're live in the chat, leave a comment down below. If you're in the chat, leave a comment down below. Let us know your thoughts about Put a Ring on It, episode 11. We're talking specifically about Shay and Alfonzo. Leave us your thoughts down below. But if you're new to the channel, do me a massive favor. Like it, share, subscribe. Click on the bell button for notification of uploads. We appreciate you. Listen, it's a mazzoline right now, because mazzoline. All right, let's get into this. Let's talk about the show and talk about Alfonzo and Shay as well. Okay, cool. Let's get into this.
Every question.
Knowing that I'm going to propose, I'm excited. To be able to call Shay Miss Morgan going to be beautiful. I can't wait to say it.
We are one.
All right, fantastic. So seeing Shay and Alfonzo get to a point where he can now propose to Shay and confidently say he wants to marry her, I think is so important, because I think where they've got to now, this is a sign of growth. And whenever we talk on this channel, we're always talking about introspection. We're talking about observing. We're talking about watching. We're talking about improving. We're talking about changing. We're talking about things that involve movement, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, physically. And we want to see changes that are beneficial to individual parties involved. With Alfonzo and Shay, we have seen such growth from these two, outlining their actual issues specifically. If you look at Shay and Alfonzo, Shay had a problem with her temper, number one, which I'm sure she's still working on, because that don't just go. But number two as well, her issue of fear and control and how that would come about. And also we had with Alfonzo, his issue was being more around how he dealt with the blended family, dealt with the blended family, and how he saw, how he saw Shay and the mother of his kids, and how he wanted to bring them together. And I think that's really important as well in terms of growth as well, because those actual issues got discussed, and those issues got dealt with in a particular way. Now, of course, it's not the be all and end all. I think you guys are even saying in the chat as well that he said he felt like there's no growth. She loves the lifestyle and he has money. I would say no. I mean, she could have stayed where she was. I'll be honest with you. She could have stayed where she was. She could have done the toxic thing she was doing. They would have continued to go around the cycle. I don't think it's just because of that. I'm not going to say that she's not staying because the lifestyle was good. Of course, that would probably influence her decision making, and I wouldn't even blame her if it did. But I think what we have seen is clear demonstration of evidence of a change of heart because of the way that they've spoken about their individual problems and the reality they've come into as well. Someone else said, obviously, I think Alfonso will still cheat. He'll just be discreet. Now he may do, okay, but that wouldn't still mean that there hasn't been growth. You know what I mean, right? That wouldn't mean there still isn't growth. I think with these two, what we have seen is when it comes to their issues, there has been a growth in the situation. Now, has it been enough to go forward and marry? That's another question. I'm rooting for them. Don't get it twisted, right? I'm rooting for them. Is it enough to change that he will not cheat again, or he will not sleep with any other woman? I don't know. What I do know is they have learned to be better in the way they interact with one another. They've learned to be better in the way that they go about how they deal with one another. And I think this is critical and important. Now, what Shay needs to do is that if he is going to cheat, she needs to know what she's going to do. You know what I mean? Someone said he would cheat in peace. He will cheat in peace. Well, that's tonight's topic as well, guys. We have a live later on tonight. I'll put the post. I've put the post on the community page, but I'll put up the actual conversation for tonight as well. You know, it is one of those things. It's one of those things where I think what we've seen from these two is a mirror being held up, and both of them can now start to see how they influence one another, or at least influence themselves in certain ways.
When the hangar doors open.
Now, I think someone said it here as well. He definitely been in a growth phase. It just may not be enough. And this is the key part also. So the growth also that's needed is not just the boundaries issue that Alfonso has. The growth aspect is not just the fact that he struggles and doesn't want to hurt people's feelings as to why there's weak boundaries, but there's also an aspect of the discipline where he doesn't run away like Joseph, right? Doesn't run away like Joseph. That for me is a huge thing, because fidelity is important to any long-lasting relationship. You want to be you want to be faithful to your partner. But if he's not putting active stops and active blocks in the situation, he gonna be back here again, but not for the family situation, but for his own misdemeanors. So there is an aspect where he needs to be also looking at how to make sure that he doesn't fall into that trap again, isn't going to be tempted by a woman. And by all means, that doesn't go away. You wanting another woman doesn't go away. The feeling of seeing another woman and getting excited by them doesn't go away. What needs to happen, though, is that you put safeguarding or safe blocks in there so that you can begin to guard yourself. You know what I'm saying? So you can safeguard yourself. Again, I'll say it again once more. They've definitely grown because of the way they talk about their situations. You can tell there's an understanding that has come there. You can tell when people understand something. You can tell when people have deep tea. You can tell when people have actually it sunk into their brain. And then you can tell when people are really not on it and people are not really feeling it. And when people don't really know wagwan, they know. Right? So for me, that has to be a bigger change if we were to get married. If we were to get married, I need to know that there are healthy safeguarding tips involved so that you don't fall again in prey to this situation. So if that's not sorted, then we've got a problem. But again, back to the original point. Yes. Okay. There is growth that is there. Right? It's growth that is there. Someone said just because he made a phone call to his baby mother doesn't deem growth. The foundation is still weak. That does show some growth, and I'll tell you why. Because he never knew how to do it. He never knew how to do it. He never knew how to blend the two. He never knew how to bring them together. He struggled with that. And when men struggle with stuff like that, they tend not to do it at all. When they struggle to not know how to do something, they tend to shy away from it all the way because they don't want to be embarrassed. They don't want to be, exposed. So just leave it alone. And I think that was one of the issues. I think the way he was talking to her, you could tell, like, he wanted to be able to just, like, smooth it over and get them into a better place. But part and parcel, she had to be able to say her piece, the mother of his kids as well, right? So for me, it's definitely a growth moment because he hadn't done it before. If you just listen to the way he speaks about their situation, it should tell you that he's grown and how he even feels happy he's about, in terms of being able to sort out some of the issues that he has had.
I thought from day one, Alfonso was just going to quit.
So closed-minded to it. I didn't think I'd get anything from it because us as men, we just feel like we know everything. But I've grown a lot. She's grown a lot.
Even that comment there himself said, listen, look, I was closed off in the beginning because I really didn't think I was going to learn anything. And he goes on to let you know that, actually, do you know what? I did learn some stuff. That is growth. You know what I'm saying? Now, the difference is whether the growth is enough to go and get married. That's a different conversation. But in terms of the growth, we've seen it. His own words are testifying to the growth that he has had in. And like I said, when people grow, the first thing that usually changes is their language, is their wording, is their perception and what they say about what they see in front of them. I'll be honest with you, it's having resources, it's having tools, it is having the ability to see it. It's the ability, it's having, okay, so, it's been given the resources to be able to complete the task. And so through this show, he's been able to do that, right? Janae obviously says, well, like, look, if they don't solve their problems before they get married, it's going to be a rocky marriage. Absolutely. Took years for him to get to the point of being able to make that call, even though it would have been easier for many of us. Yeah, I definitely agree that as well. So, for Shay and obviously for Alfonzo, there has been some movement. Now, let's talk a little bit more about whether this movement is going to be ready for marriage, because that's a different conversation. Well, I think without the safeguarding, without there being a plan in place, without him saying what he's going to do to be able to keep them safe, I don't think marriage should be on the cards. He has to be able to come up with an idea or a plan that would prevent him, or at least give him some accountability when dealing with female clients, female artists, female whatever, because he knows himself that he has a weakness. So there needs to be some accountability. There needs to be somebody, that you can reach out to, or somebody that you can also be cool with, etc., etc. So you don't go and do a madness. You don't go and do as a madness. So yeah, Bella K said, I wanted to know there had been acceptance within the family dynamics. What's happened with his mama, child mother? You'll find out on the reunion. You'll find out on the reunion. Yeah, you'll find out on the reunion. So watch the reunion, you'll find out. So as well. Someone said, who is to say they won't fall back into their toxic habits after the show? Yeah, they could do, but they've sussed it out now. Meaning that, you know what, it may take a few more tries before they finally get it right all the way, but they've sussed it. They've understood it. They've deeped it. Therefore, change is going to come because they've deeped it. You know what I mean? They've actually deeped it. So even if they backslide once or twice, it just means that, you know what, I now know what the new standard is for me. And people do fall back sometimes. You become a Christian, you know better, and you fall back sometimes and do the madness. But you grow because you know what to do next time. Maybe they should do marriage to God? Absolutely. I think this would be very, very important. Very, very important to sort out any traumas and past issues. Absolutely. Life of Bod says, growth doesn't mean you can't slip back. If she can be afforded the label of growth, so can he. Absolutely. Listen, it's not to say she'll never pick up a plate again. It's not to say that she'll never pick a fight again. It's not to say that she'll never move mad again. What it is to say is that she now knows that this behavior is wrong and she can acknowledge it. Meaning if it happens again, she should be able to self-correct herself and not wait for Dr. Nicole or wait for myself, wait for someone to say it. She will know that probably wasn't the best thing to do. She'll know that I shouldn't have done that. That wasn't cool. She'll be able to recognize that herself, and she has. That's why she apologized to Alfonso and even the gentleman as well. But definitely premarital counsel would be good. Definitely pre-counts would be definitely good.
And I really appreciate this process. And we got to continue doing it because it helped us. And it's going to help us in the long run.
You know, from us first getting together.
When you hear a man telling you that the process helped and it's going to help him along the journey further, that should let you know that the thing is going. That should let you know how impactful that thing was. I don't know, my camera keeps going off, but you know, obviously, men obviously dealing with those kind of things where they're being helped and pride and ego are playing a big role. It can be very difficult to say, you know what, someone's words or someone doing X, Y, and Z has helped us grow. It can be very difficult because it's almost like admitting to us as men that, you know what, you're not good enough in this current state. Men don't like to hear that. But if you're open, if you're willing to grow, just like Alfonso, you say what you said at the end there, you know. You know what I mean? So it get like that, you know, it get like that. But listen, that's all I want to say. I didn't want to talk too long. We'll be back a little bit later on when we talk about love and marriage. That'll be a much longer live, and we'll talk all the stuff about Love and Marriage DC episode 4. I'm gonna watch that now, and then I'll get on a live in about an hour or two for you guys. So much love and appreciation. Let us know your thoughts down below in terms of the growth that Shay and Alfonso had. If you disagree, let us know below, and if you agree, beautiful. Oh, wait, someone said this. But okay, so I feel Shay now knows she can't control him and has the ability to walk away. That said, I feel Shay's position was highly important to her. Perhaps being acknowledged is enough for her. Listen, yeah, look, she now knows that that's not the way to operate, but she also now knows that wasn't power. She thought it was power trying to controlling, but it wasn't power. It was only going to lead to more madness happening. But her ability to walk away means that she now holds a level of power. She can walk away. She can say, I don't want this anymore. She can say, I don't need to be in this. And she would be okay because she now realizes, I got to love myself. I got to put myself first. So yeah, love that point as well. Listen, guys, I'm gonna bounce off. Like it, share, subscribe, click on the bell button for notification of the upload. And for those of you who are returning to already know what it is, baby, you got the minerals. We'll see you again very, very soon for another entertaining conversation around this covered reunion time, baby. I got a special live coming up as well for you guys on a Saturday. I'll have a special guest from Pottering in it.